What's good, world? This is your man Wood. Bite Down Boxing. Pay Me No Mind, the podcast. Down here in Cancun, Mexico. Just got done checking out the Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, vacant WBC title fight. And I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked that they gave it to, that all three judges scored it unanimously. I thought, and granted, I'm down here getting like a buffered stream, constantly loading and whatnot. So I didn't see the fight cleanly. So maybe that's why I thought it was a little closer than actually what it was. I was with Farhood watching it how I saw it. I thought it might be a 114 fight. Um, Yeah, I think with Garcia looking a little stronger in the 12th round, I thought he might have done enough to get it to the 114. Shout out to my man Left from Cincinnati who hooked me up with the VPN idea to help me check the fight out in the manner in which I did instead of maybe replaying it or playing it on demand tomorrow or something. I was able to check it out, like I said, real time. But I'm a little shocked. Danny, I thought, was catching some of the bigger shots. I was a little shocked and a little concerned that Porter started out so slowly and started to, the fight operating from outside and in the mid-range and kind of staying out there so long, knowing that we know what his bread and butter is. So when he decided to go to that, I thought that was back in his wheelhouse, and I thought it allowed him to speed Danny up a little bit. I don't know. I'm just like I said. I was a little shocked that when I heard unanimous. I do think one thing going into the fight, with both guys having a lot of success in Barclays, I didn't think that the crowd would be, a factor as far as who they were rooting for, influencing the judges on any way, because I think both guys have had success there, and so that wouldn't become a factor in the outcome of the fight. Good fight. Not gonna hold you up here long. Like I said, I probably had it 114, but that's watching the fight with it breaking up like every 15 to 30 seconds. So congratulations. Like I say, always big up and shout out Ohio boxing. So congratulations to the Porters, and I thought that was awesome for Shawn to get the belt and give it to his dad. Like his dad really prepared him for that fight, had the perfect game plan, and led him through executing it. I thought Porter's reach became an issue at the end. It was kind of hard for him to catch Danny cleanly those last 3 or 4 rounds. When he did move back outside and become a little bit more patient, it's like he was missing a lot with some of the hooks and the bigger shots. So I didn't know if that would be something that didn't play in his favor and whatnot. But anyway, he got it done. I just saw Karen A. Tate score saying that Danny Garcia maybe only won 2 or 3 rounds on her scorecard. That's kind of interesting. But she did point out effective punching and being consistent with that. So it is what it is. I thought the interesting thing post fight was for Spence to make it into the ring, looking like he had a couple of drinks that night, and not being a talker, a trash talker. But for him to get in the ring being a little bit aggressive and trying to sell the fight, really trying to replicate what Shawn did to get the fight with Danny Garcia after the Rios fight. We'll see if that's successful or not. Shawn said it's the easiest fight in the world to make, and he's not worried, etc., etc. That was all good on camera, but I just got a feeling that it is going to be challenging to make. I thought I heard earlier that there were some mandatories or a mandatory out there that might happen. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that develops. Like I said, I just felt like going into this fight, I mentioned it in my preview, I didn't think either guy really wanted to fight Spence. And frankly, with that performance right there, however effective it may have been against Danny Garcia, I don't see it being that great against Spence. I just think without the power there, without a way to really hurt Spence, although we haven't seen Spence's chin checked that much to this point, but I really don't like Shawn's matchup against it. But if he takes the fight and makes the unification happen, that's awesome. We'll get to the to breaking that down and looking at the favorite in that if that fight materializes. But pretty good card. I didn't get to see much of the Kalnasky and Martin fight, but I heard that one was awesome. I'll check that one out as soon as I can. Shout out to Amanda Serrano winning that 6th division title, and in her hometown, making history, and salute to her. Who else was in that opener? Kalnasky and Martin. Oh, you guys, it seemed like his performance might have been a little underwhelming tonight. Again, I saw his fight, but it was buffered and the constant loading and whatnot, so I couldn't get a good feel of that. But I did think, I think my cousin mentioned something. I thought he might have gotten that guy out of there, based on the role that he had been on lately. So again, like I said, the interesting thing was, Spence. Maybe not the best idea for Showtime if they knew that he had a couple of drinks that night and was just enjoying himself. And then if you want to bring him up in the ring to try to have the stare down and the confrontation and whatnot, and propel us towards that showdown sometime early next year. If it happens, great for the division. But again, it didn't seem like a good look from what from the image that they were trying to create for Spence. But I'm not gonna hold it against him. It is what it is. He got in the ring. He said what he had to say. But it was like he went to start talking, and then being that seemed like he had a couple of beverages. It just seemed a little off. But if it propels us to that fight, getting made, then that's awesome. So what else was there that I wanted to say? Danny and his dad, Danny kind of with the same excuse. He thought he won the fight for the same reasoning. Again, that was kind of my thoughts, going into my fight preview piece, and my prediction was that Danny just doesn't change gears. And I was amazed at how well he did early on in the fight when he was kind of fighting big. Going into the weigh-in and whatnot, I did think that Danny's size could be an issue. I didn't realize he had that much length and height on Shawn, and it seemed like through the first 3 or 4 rounds, that length, and then the fact that Danny actually was tying him up and clinching a little bit to disrupt his rhythm. I thought that was something that we hadn't seen from Garcia, and I didn't even mention it in my preview piece because I just didn't think that was something he was interested in doing. But it will be something to see. It's kind of suspenseful to see where he's going next in his career. And I don't think he should be done necessarily, but he has to work himself back into the picture. I'm gonna go on and jump off of here. I don't think there's much else to add. Here comes the late night workers at the resort. So y'all be easy. Peace.